An update today, everybody. So I've uploaded nearly 700 videos on this channel, nearly all of them World of Warcraft, nearly all of them in the last year, and granted most of them are short form and therefore don't require much editing or time, but the recent content does. The levels 0 to 90 takes a long time to edit the videos, and as I was editing the most recent one, I was just kind of brought back to why I think I've now got engaged in playing games again more, and what I want to keep doing going forward in order to stay interested in gaming. And to do that, I kind of want to talk a little bit about me in the past and how I've approached gaming when I think back to it, and how if I'm reflective about it, I can now see why I'm enjoying playing again, having not enjoyed playing games for a while, I would say. Anyway, so I remember when I first got a PlayStation 1. I remember getting out of the box, a little grey thing with a little pop-up disc thing, as you'll all know, and that was kind of my earliest entrance into playing games. But actually, one of my friends had that way before me. They got the PS1 almost on like release day. Whoa, check them out. I was impressed. I went over their house and they had Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, and they also had Tony Hawk Pro Skater. You know, the one with the time trials and getting the videotapes. We all know it. And if you don't, go and play it. But both of those games are incredibly nostalgic for me looking back. And I think the reason for that was partly to do with just being at the friend's house, taking turns playing that, laughing about things going on with it, being competitive about who could do, the best route on Tony Hawk, competitive about who could, complete the quest in Harry Potter. And I'm pretty sure both of those were single player games. But it was going to your friend's house to sit down and play the PS1 was, at the time, for me, mind-blowing. I couldn't believe this was even a thing. I wasn't introduced to gaming that early. Neither of my parents were interested in it. I spent all my time basically kicking at football when I was younger. And when games came into it, I was obviously interested. I've got a bit of an addictive personality. I get into things. But I remember playing that. I also remember when the PS2 came out and going to a friend's house who I still play with to this day and seeing him playing Jak and Daxter on the PlayStation 2 and acquiring a hoverboard and being like, oh my goodness, look at this city. Look at this game. Is this a real thing? I also remember Ratchet and Clank in the same light, those two games. But again, I didn't really play them by myself. I was always either playing it with my brothers, or I was playing it with a friend, or I was at a friend's house for a sleepover and we just play it all night, PS2, PS2, PS2. And I also, one of my favorite memories of PlayStation 2 was, again, my brothers are slightly older than me, but they managed to sneak Grand Theft Auto San Andreas into the house. And I remember playing that really quietly and subtly because, well, my parents would have been unimpressed if they'd known that a bunch of kids was playing that. And I remember my mum coming in. She wasn't best pleased to see my brother sat on the corner honking at one of those professional ladies working on the street corner. But it was hilarious nonetheless. And it was, the PS2 was a fantastic thing. And as I got older and I was at secondary school and the Xbox 360 came out, I bought the Xbox 360, really lucky for Christmas. Oh my goodness, this thing is a thing of magic. It's going to play games in HD. I think I was still plugging it in with a SCART cable in the back of the TV, so it wasn't HD yet. On an old TV that still had a videotape player on it. We weren't high-tech house. And I remember saving up to buy that little router, that little adapter that you plugged in the back of the Xbox so that you could play online, that is. I loaded up my account and I remember getting online for the first time. I didn't really play with anyone. And then when I went into school, other people asked me, oh, do you have Xbox Live? Do you have an account? Yes, you do. What's your name? You've got to make an account, got to do all those things. I think I probably begged for Xbox Live for a while. And I remember getting Xbox Live as a freebie with Gears of War. If you remember, you used to get the little like cardboard slip in the Xbox 360. It was like 1 month free or 3 months free Xbox Live with this game, whatever. And that's what it was. I named myself a fantastic name in all capitals, Naked Mole Attack. I should probably have continued that name, really. It would have been much more interesting. Anyway, I used to rush home, log on, and play for hours and hours on Halo 3, on Call of Duty, and I remember specifically the weirdest thing happened when the Xbox 360 came out and Xbox Live happened is at my school there was like a real blend of people who are now kind of friends with each other outside of school and inside of school who never would have been in the past. Like you had the quote unquote popular people playing with the more nerdy people, and you had the more nerdy people playing with the, famously named smoker group just because they smoked at school. And everyone was playing together, and it was this really weird thing where like people who would have never spoken to each other were then like join each other's clans on Call of Duty, and you'd be in school and you'd be like, whoa, why are those two talking to each other? And it was because of Xbox 360. I swear, quite literally broke down social barriers like nothing I've ever seen before. And honestly, I think Halo and Call of Duty just united people, particularly in my school. I mean, some people would probably argue not, and it was actually a horrible, unpleasant experience. But anyway, for me, it was cool. I became friends with different people because we were all playing Xbox, and it was an awesome social time on there, as well as being in school, playing football, rugby, whatever it was outside of school, and then also playing Xbox Live. But as I've gotten older, and different friends have gone different ways, and you know how it is, you go to college, maybe you go to university, whatever you do, people go different ways and everyone gets busier. I still play games with my best friend, and we try and get games in with much as we can, but to be honest, we've both got much busier. We've both got grown-up jobs like you're supposed to have when you're getting towards 30, and that's fine, that's all just part of it. But what that does mean is that like, if one of you is not online, the other one's not likely online. And I think when I started playing World of Warcraft, it was kind of with the intent of getting a bit creative, making some videos, talking to the camera again, like I've always done since I was making Minecraft videos when I was 12 years old. But I haven't even talked about Minecraft. Whoa, that was huge. I remember playing Minecraft and going on all like, I wanted to be a YouTuber back in the early days, early. And I remember going on and trying to get partnerships with different, I can't remember what they were called. I want to call them CRMs, but basically you have to get like partnership with a community page that would then partner with YouTube, and then they take 80% of your revenue and they'd give you 20%. But that was the only way you could do it. And I'd be on the forums making friends with random people. I made really good friends with some guys in Canada. I made some good friends with people in Birmingham. A couple of them have gone on to do actually really big things on YouTube, like towards the 1 million subscribers, which is awesome. And again, it was meeting people, talking to people, and that made playing Minecraft fun. Anyway, back to World of Warcraft. I think I started playing it for the creative outlet, but also for the hopefully social aspect of playing games again. And I don't think I really realized that. I looked at World of Warcraft as like, I'm going to play this because everyone's played it before. I should give it a try. We should see what it's like. And for a long time, most of the time I spent either streaming it, making videos on it, not very often talking to people in game whilst playing it. And so kind of for the last 9 months or a year, we've been doing that, some M+, dipping in and out of calls with people occasionally, but it's only been very recently that I've allowed myself to get fully kind of engaged back into playing games, talking, and that's being part of the process. And we've been leveling very, very slowly because I'm slow at the game and I like to look around in areas of World of Warcraft that aren't really explored. There's not really many players in them, but the magic of that has been talking to people about what's happening in the game, what's happening outside of the game, moments that you just wouldn't have if you were playing by yourself. And I know that there's been some epic games that have come out recently, and I often ask people, what game should I get my teeth stuck into? What other games are out there? People say Baldur's Gate, people say Elden Ring. There's loads of games, but for some reason for me, I've just found it hard recently in the last few years to sit down, log into a single player game and just play it solo. And I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's that I'm picking games that are too long and I can't maintain focus on it, or whether it is just that social aspect that I look for when I'm playing. It's that laughing at things, it's the not taking the game serious part that's engaging. And I think if you're someone, bring this full circle to not go on forever, who's looking for some social gains, some fun downtime separate from work and bits and pieces, but actually maybe you don't want to go out and about and beat people out touching grass. We should all do that. Let me preface that. World of Warcraft Classic, partnered with a good group of people who are willing to jump in Discord calls or whatever you want to call them, can be phenomenal. It can be great. It can make a game which kind of feels a bit dead, it feels a bit dreary, feels like there's not much going on, feels like it's a grind, feels like it's a collection simulator, feels like it's all those things. It makes them not that because there's things happening in between. I can't imagine ever playing classic World of Warcraft by myself. I don't have the desire, I don't have the interest in what's going on, to be honest with you. However, when done with other people, it's excellent. And that's kind of full circle to all of this. I think looking back at games for me in general, gaming has always been a social thing partnered with enjoying great games, great combat, great moments. But those great moments are best enjoyed with others, I think. And partly making videos and streaming is me sharing it with others because it feels like that's the best way to do it. But anyhow, let's cut it there, cut it off. I can stop talking now. Basically what I'm saying is play games with other people and you'll enjoy it more.